Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a draft agenda for our evening tonight. Can I have a motion to approve?
I motion.
Christy and Jake support. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Thanks, everybody. No recognition tonight, so we're into our consent agenda items. There are 6 minutes from August, a football donation, a field hockey donation, certified staff resignations, revised fall coaches, and presentation of bills in the amount of $15.8 million. Can I have a motion to approve our consent agenda items?
Move.
Kelly and support. Barb, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. New business number 1, MASB voting delegates.
So the board, the MASB 2024 Delegate Assembly, will begin Thursday, October 24th at 7 p.m. at the Lansing Center in Lansing. Delegates selected by boards of education across the state will decide MASB's positions on a wide variety of issues affecting education. All delegates and alternates must be school board members. Only delegates and alternates named by your board may offer motions and vote on issues. However, all school board members may speak on the issues and participate in the debate. Your 2024-25 MASB dues must be paid. All delegates must be certified and submitted by Friday, October 4th. And a link to certify the official voting delegates and alternates who will represent your board has been sent to Jody Nestor. So we wanted to add this to our agenda tonight because you will not meet before October 4th.
Thank you. And I know I'll be in Lansing for the weekend conference. I believe Christy will be as well. I'm not aware of anybody else signing up for Lansing that weekend. So I will move that Christy and I serve as board delegates for that Thursday night event. I have a support.
I support.
Kelly, any questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That's everybody, thank you. Item 2, certified staff recommendations and a personnel report.
I will turn to Dr. Corey Wilson-Crawford.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. Tonight, I bring before you our final 7 hires of the 24-25 school year. You should see them in your board packet with their resumes. And so I would first hope that you would approve their recommendation. They were all from a collaborative hiring process that you know we engage in, where we use a committee and rubrics to select the candidates. And so these candidates all come highly recommended. Most of them, all but one of them, have previous experience in their vocation, whether that is speech therapy or whether that is a special ed teacher or an 8th grade science teacher. So they all have experience with the exception of one who is coming right out of college to join us. So that is the first part of, our I guess, item here. And then the second part is just a general personnel overview of the 24-25 hiring season. So with these 7 candidates, that brings the total of teacher or professional staff candidates that we've hired this year to 17. Of those 17 new certified staff members, 4 of them come to us right out of a preparatory program at a college, and the other 13 come with experience ranging from 2 to 25 years of experience. And so when you think around what that looks like from a professional hiring pool, that is wonderful. That means that a lot of our candidates and a lot of our pools are people who have experience in other places and they want to come to Rockford. And so we engaged in new staff orientation with these people this summer with the help of Lori Waters and Pam Stuckey, as well as Al Reichert and Kyle Avink, who serve as our mentor coordinators. And so we went through that whole process with them. They're all on board now, save your final recommendation for these last few. So that's what professional staff looks like. If you're wondering what that looks like year over year, just for comparison's sake, 2 years ago, we hired 74. So 17 is a small amount. Now, 74 was a very large amount. We typically average between 30 and 35 new hires a year, and so we were in a little bit smaller year this year. 2 years ago, we were in a huge year. From a support staff perspective, we've onboarded 24 staff members for our support staff. Those 24 support staff members come from all kinds of backgrounds. Many of them are BAC workers, custodians, maintenance workers, food service workers, primarily driven by retirements, but not all by retirements. About 75% of our support staff hires come from retirements, and then the other 25% come from resignations, people moving out, people getting different jobs, things like that. So overall this year, we have hired about 45-ish people. We anticipate a few more. This is pretty late in the hiring season, so I'm hopeful that we're done. But as positions continue to shift, sometimes other people have late vacancies, opportunities come up. We may bring 1 or 2 more, but this should be the bulk of the hiring for the 24-25 school year. So a very positive school year cadre joining us, and I'm very happy with the pools that we've had thus far. So.
Terrific, thank you.
So that's the recommendation this evening, that the board approve the certified staff recommendations.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve.
I move.
Kelly, support.
Support.
Christy, any other questions or discussion? Nope. Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We're into reports. Item 1, our student representative report from Brooklyn.
Hey, Brooklyn. And your report should be up on the screen.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name's Brooklyn Schmucker. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to give you all a little overview of what's happening at the high school. So, introducing all of our Rockford clubs. There's many more along with all of these listed here. We try to recognize all of our student body at Rockford, and I'm in probably over 6 of these clubs just because meeting new people and getting to know people at Rockford is so amazing, and just making clubs and being in clubs is just a really good experience. A club spotlight would be the RHS Humane Society Club. I actually started this with one of my friends, but it just helps advocate for animals in the Humane Society, and it gives those animal lovers a chance to be recognized and find their people and stuff. And we hear from different people who are in animal welfare businesses, and just, so it's a nice club. And then our drama club is just starting this year. That picture is from the thespian meeting that they had yesterday at an event. And then our Students Demand Action Club just started this year, and it had a really, really good turnout as well. What's going on in the drama department? So we have this Sleepy Hollow show that is going to be here at Rockford October 30th to November 3rd, and the cast list just came out up there, and congratulations to everyone who made it. But we have an awesome drama department at Rockford, so make sure you guys come and see the show. Band students will be going to Toledo this weekend on Saturday for Bands of America regional competition. And at our high school, we like to recognize not just our sports and athletics, but our clubs, bands, orchestra, choir, just to make sure that everything's kind of balanced out and not just focusing on one central thing. Choir and orchestra, there are no concerts coming up yet, but there will probably be some that the community can attend soon. Rockford sporting events this upcoming week. There is a list of them on rockfordrams.org, and just having our community there to support everyone, not just the football games, is really just an amazing thing, because everyone deserves to be watched and feel seen and just feel supported by the community. So Friday Night Lights with a win. Rockford won this past week, and there's some pictures of just our community coming out to support, a touchdown, and the banner that the cheerleading team makes just to support Rockford, and everybody comes out. Giving thanks to our athletic trainers. These are like trainees that our athletic trainers are training, and our security guards. We tend to not recognize those people enough, and I think more people deserve to be recognized at Rockford just because it's such a big school and a big community. And our athletic trainers help with all of our athletics, and they deserve a ton of recognition, as well as our security guards. They do so much for our school, and they just keep our school safe, and they're showing up for everyone, and they're just amazing human beings. And we are so thankful to have them at Rockford. And then a glimpse into our dance, color guard, cheer, and band. These are pictures from Rockford, the football game on Friday. There's pictures from our color guard. Our color guard is amazing. If you guys got a chance to see the show on Friday, the cheerleaders, the dance team, and the band, all of those amazing events occur at the football games, and it's just amazing to see all of them. Sports Spotlight. Girls rugby with a win, 45-5 yesterday in Traverse City. It is amazing that this team is growing so big because it used to only be a club and not have that much recognition. So it's just so cool that we have that sport at our school. And then girls swim and dive placed fourth this past weekend with an overall score of 288 points, and we have a really good swim and dive team too. Important events coming up is the early release this Wednesday. We are having our King and Queen Assembly crowning for homecoming court on the 20th, and early release the 25th, and our homecoming dance is the 28th. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Brooklyn.
Yeah, thanks, Brooklyn.
All right, and then we're on to number 2, collaborative reports.
So our collaborative team reports tonight. The elementary report will from Jeremy Carroll, the principal at Valley View Elementary.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Matthews. Board of Ed, it's my pleasure to, I sort of have the easiest report, I think, of the year for the elementary group. It's the start of the year, and it's just been an amazing start overall. At the elementary level, we've had a lot of changes with redistricting, with the addition of Edgerton Trails, and it really has been a smooth start to the school year. So to start, I do need to recognize Sean Hayward and his team. They have done an amazing job just getting everything set for this school year. Just at Valley View alone, every single teacher in my building, except one, moved to a new location. So if you can imagine just across the district, the amount of movement that we had in personnel, all their boxes, and then throw in new furniture at several buildings. It's been a busy summer, but they have done an amazing job with it. So speaking of Valley View, if you get a chance, drive past Valley View. It looks a lot different than it did in the past. We don't have any portables anymore. We have a new parking lot. We had new carpet put throughout the corridors. We had new paint that was painted in all of our hallways, and new furniture. And so students and teachers are just loving our new space and the amount of space that we have now, and it's just been a great way to start the year. Speaking of the new furniture, it's amazing. I just had an email today from a staff member who was just really impressed at like how the students have adapted to it and finding ways to help their learning style and their attention using different pieces of furniture. It's just been really cool to see. So. The first few weeks of school, just overall, have been really focused on those routines and establishing friendships and bonds in classrooms. We're now in the process of finishing up our NWA assessment. This is going to help really set the stage for just our targeted instruction and our collaborative time that we have at our first early release happening this Wednesday, which we're very excited about. A big focus during those meetings as we start the year is going to be on CKLA, our new curriculum. But our teachers are doing a great job working through this together, staying on pace, learning as they go, and just working collaboratively together. Just a few other highlights. STEAM this year is now once a week, which is a great addition to our specials. This is a change from last year, and again, it just shows our strong belief in this program. And the deep problem-solving skills that it helps to teach our students. So Last but not least, just September is a great year to be in the elementary building. It's when kindergarten classes go on orchard field trips. We have football players that come on Fridays. Our PTO sponsored events are starting to pop and happen, so it's just a really exciting time, and we are ready for a good year. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you might have about elementary at all.
Questions, Mr. Carroll? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy. And our secondary report, Tom Hosford, the Rockford High School principal.
Thanks, Dr. Matthews, Board of Ed Central Office staff. First of all, give it up for Brooklyn again. That was awesome. Very first one, and you sensed a tone and a theme that is so authentic and sincere from her. It's about student recognition and being inclusive to all the things at Rockford High School, and her leadership has already been felt with that, and we're only 2 weeks in, so great job, Brooklyn. Appreciate you and your senior leadership. All buildings report a positive, all secondary buildings report a positive. Exciting and successful start to the school year. At the middle school level, just like at the elementary level, finishing up some NWA testing, looking forward to getting into that data so they can meet students where they're at, and then utilizing the win and RAM time at the middle school level to help with those intensive Tier 1 and Tier 2 supports for our students so they can continue to see academic growth and achievement. So we're real thankful for that. North Rockford specifically, lots of construction there. They're so happy. The sixth graders are really enjoying their brand new classrooms with all the new furniture that promotes learning through collaboration and choice. So to echo some of the things Mr. Carroll said, they're really benefiting from the new look in those classrooms, and we look forward to utilizing the new furniture in all secondary classrooms here in the next year or so. So that's an exciting thing. Rockford Freshman Center held a successful luncheon event for approximately 60 new students that transitioned to Rockford Public Schools from another school district. So really nice event there. Connected them with some mentors, made sure that they knew some people at lunch, connected them with some club options and things like that for the future. So great start for the Freshman Center. Maybe to piggyback, one more thing that Brooklyn didn't mention was we've got a pretty robust foreign exchange program at Rockford High School where we have approximately 30 from all over the world. We're hosting a nice little breakfast event for them this week. Just again to welcome them to Rockford High School. They're kind of settled into the routines now. And we're just going to get in a room and have some fun with them and show how much we appreciate them kind of taking a positive risk coming to us in Rockford, Michigan at Rockford Public Schools. From wherever they are in the world. And I have the breakdown right here. So we have 7 from Spain, 3 from Brazil, 3 from France, 4 from Germany, 2 from Taiwan, and 1 exchange student from the following countries: Norway, Finland, Switzerland, Thailand, Vietnam, and Denmark. So a great smattering from around the world. They're going to be sharing their time with us this year at Rockford High School. Any questions?
Did you host the seniors in the fall? Is it sunrise or sunset?
We hosted a very successful senior sunrise, yeah. It was cloudy, the sunrise didn't cooperate. We had a lot of students out there. It was a fun event just to get there and kind of hang out as seniors at the end of their first week as a senior, which is really their last first week at Rockford High School. And we look forward to having a very successful sunset on their last week in May. So yes, we held that. That was fun. Questions? Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you.
All right, and then I think we're on to item 3, committee reports. I don't think we had any committee activity, right? Yep, okay. On to number 4, MASB session report. I wanted to share I have 45 minutes of material to go through with it. Just kidding, not 45 minutes. Just a few notes about the recent MASB sessions. The fall legal update in August, the material is in our Dropbox. So if you're curious about what was covered there, they talked about some general legal updates for school officials, for candidates, and other kind of election year topics. Some school district legal liability topics, student discipline, superintendent contract stuff, and then of course Title IX was a major topic as well. So the materials are in Dropbox if you're curious about more detail on that. Take a look and then reach out to me if you want to talk further about any of that. And then Just a few highlights from the MASB Summer Institute, also in August. I attended a handful of sessions there. One that was of interest to me was the strategic planning and goal setting class, and one of the notes I took away was that the district's approach that we just took for RAMS 12 was very much in line with the best practices that were described in this course. I wasn't surprised to see that, but I thought it was worth mentioning. But I was particularly focused on goal setting and the board's role in that, and these are going to be topics that are important to us in the months ahead now that we have RAMS 12 finalized, and Dr. Matthews and the team work on building out kind of the more detailed goals and the priority areas for the upcoming year, and then we'll get regular updates as we will tonight and going forward. But so that was interesting and helpful. Other sessions related to creating trust and school improvement and student achievement, capital planning. We talked about things like funding mechanisms, sinking funds and allowable uses, municipal bonds, bond applications and investment options, and all that stuff that Allison helps us with. PLCs was another one I was in. We're way down the road on this. I heard from people in other districts who aren't as far along but headed in the same direction, but it was interesting to kind of get more insight into that. So I've got notes on this. The materials from these classes aren't downloadable. Otherwise I'd have posted those as well, but MASB doesn't like to do that. So if you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And just encourage you to take advantage of, there's all kinds of, as you know, it's not all in person. There's lots of virtual stuff that you can take advantage of from MASB, so I encourage you to do that at every opportunity. Nick was in both sessions as well. So just FYI, you can always reach out to him on these topics too. I think that was it. Any questions on that? All right. Thank you. On to Grow Your Own update.
And we have Dr. Corey Wilson Crawford and Lisa Jacobs. We'll talk about our Grow Your Own program here in the Rockford Public Schools.
Well, this is an exciting time to be able to update you on our Grow Your Own program and kind of reorient you to the Grow Your Own program, how it came to be. So we're going to spend a little bit of time just kind of sharing, what we are doing, what the contents of the grant are, and then Lisa's going to share a little bit about our cohorts that we currently have moving through the Grow Your Own grant. Of course, you saw one of them last month when you approved his contract to become a teacher in our district. So that's just one of the many people that are in our Grow Your Own program, which is a grant-funded opportunity that we received a grant for from the Michigan Department of Education. So just as a reminder, we have 3 universities that we're partnering with for our Grow Your Own partnership. Now this is a partnership that is specific to Rockford. So Lisa and I wrote a grant to the Michigan Department of Education, and we were allocated some funds for that in round 1. We then wrote a second grant due to the interest that we had here in Rockford, and we were lucky enough to get a second round allocation as well. So as you see here, we have 3 different university partners, and we have about $8 million worth of Grow Your Own funding that we were gifted to do this work with, and so it's very exciting. So first of all, we have Grand Valley State University. Grand Valley State University has been a partner of Rockford Schools for quite a while in some dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment classes. We expanded that to include some dual enrolled or concurrent enrolled classes for students who are specifically interested in education as a future career. And so we have our teachers teaching those courses, and we are doing some credit bearing with Grand Valley through dual enrollment, and we are raising awareness about education as career pathways for students, and so that's specific for students that are enrolled in Rockford Public Schools. We also have MSU as a partnership. Michigan State University is where we have housed our current professional staff that already have teaching certificates. So if we have current staff that have a teaching certificate, but they would like to get a master's degree, they can apply and then go to Michigan State University, and they can earn their master's degree as well as an additional area of teacher certification on their endorsement through this program. We also have a partnership with Ferris State University. The partnership with Ferris State University is specific to support staff, people who haven't gotten a teaching certificate at all yet, but are working in our school district and would like to become a teacher. People that are support staff, maybe a custodian or a food service worker, a child care worker, a BAC employee, a paraprofessional who's always wanted to be a teacher, can go to Ferris State University and earn their bachelor's degree and a teaching certificate to go along with that, and then they can enter the workforce as a teacher. So those are the 3 partnerships that we have going right now, and we're very fortunate because each one of our university partners has been helpful and flexible. You know, most of the people in this program are adults who might be going back to school, and so that's very different from a student that is leaving high school and going away to college. So they've been really flexible in building cohorts, sending professors here to work with our staff instead of having our staff go to those places. So really been a wonderful partnership with each one of those entities, but specifically Ferris and MSU with our adult learners. There are some important elements to grow your own programs that we just want to make sure that everyone is aware of. First one we just talked about, which is you have to have strong partnerships. In order to have a grow your own program work, the partnerships with the university partners and the school districts have to be really strong. We also have to engage in community-based recruitment, and we have been doing that, and you'll see by the numbers that Lisa will share with you that we are recruiting people to come. In fact, when I was meeting with some of our new staff this year, they had heard about our Grow Your Own program and wanted to come to Rockford specifically to be a part of that, so that was wonderful to see. We also have to offer wraparound supports so that these people are successful in these programs. They need to make progress. They need to earn credit. They need to move through because it's a limited term grant, so they have to finish. So Lisa's going to talk a little bit about our Rockford Public Schools Success Coach cadre, where we take current administrators, assign them a small caseload, and they actually follow our staff through that process. We also offer paid work-based experiences. So we have people that are working with a mentor teacher and they're being released from their assignment to go do that for a couple hours, and they're getting an opportunity to do that paid. And then we also have to provide structured pathways. So again, this is a program that is both degree and certificate bearing. So we have to be monitoring constantly to ensure that the structured pathways that we have provided for people and the grant dollars that the state has provided to us are ultimately leading to people gaining skills, gaining credits, and gaining credentials. And so we're working through all of those things as part of this Grow Your Own program that we have here at Rockford Schools.
Thank you. So just a few things that I would like to mention in regards to our cohorts. This is such an exciting opportunity for our staff. I cannot say that enough, and thrilled to bring Michigan State as well as Ferris State here to help our staff, become those lifelong learners and continue learning and earn their additional degrees. And so if you take a look at Michigan State on the left-hand side, our first cohort, which began January of 2024, they're already looking at graduating. The majority of them will graduate in May of 2025. However, we have a handful that will finish in December of this year. So we are super excited to already start seeing more and more of these staff make it through into the finish line. Cohort number 2, as you can see, started earlier this summer, and they have 19 participants that started as a group beginning of summer. The third cohort of our certified staff started this fall, and all of them are super excited. We have 11 participants that started in the fall here for a total of 48 certified staff across the district, representing elementary, middle school, and high school, and it's about an even number at all 3 levels, and we are super excited to start seeing them meet that goal that they started the first cohort in January 2024. Ferris State, again, this is our support staff group, and as you can see, our first cohort that started January of 2024, half of them are going to graduate at the end of next year. And as you know, we already have one that accepted a teaching position here in the district, but we also have a handful that are going to finish and complete in December. So again, out of the 24, because of their varying experience in college prior to the start of this program, some of them will finish earlier than others. And as you can see, with cohort number 2, we added 11 participants in the program that started this fall. And they are well on their way, and I'm super excited to announce that also, I think Corey mentioned, we are going to have some Ferris State University courses specifically for our GYO cohorts here at Rockford High School, so they do not have to travel. It will not be virtual, but they will be right here and they will be attending class, and they're specifically filled with our GYO candidates, and that's a great opportunity for them. Also, 2 of our certified staff started a CTE program at Ferris State University, and that is also very exciting for Rockford when we're talking about that career tech education piece. And Ferris State, we have 37 total staff there. Overall, we have 85 that are engaged with the GYO program, and above that we have high school students, as you heard Corey mention, that are enrolled with GVSU. We also have some additional points of pride that not only Corey mentioned, but I'd like to add a little bit of detail to. One of the things that we are super proud of, and Ferris also is very excited to be able to working with our Rockford administrators. They hosted a day of learning for our administrators that are coaching our Ferris State support staff group in particular. So our success coaches, there are 6 of them. They have a caseload of 5 to 10 participants from cohort 1 and 2 of the Ferris program, and they walk them through just resources that Ferris have. They provide academic coaching. They provide those small celebrations when we reach some major milestones at the end of their first semester and so on. Jeremy Carroll is one of our success coaches, and we are super excited to be able to provide that for our our staff. But Ferris, if they have a need, they will reach out to our success coaches as well to help our staff be extremely successful. Enrollments across all of the departments as well as professional staff in both of these programs. And our first, as you know, GYO support staff member accepted a teaching position here in the district. We are thrilled to be able to fill an open position with one of our own GYO candidates. And as you can see, we have ongoing and expanded opportunities for both professional and support staff. I have to say that through this program, we were able to fill some very difficult positions in one of my departments through just that attraction piece and providing an opportunity to enroll in this Grow Your Own program through Ferris State University. So it is doing what it was intended to do from an attraction and retention standpoint, as Corey mentioned. And we are absolutely thrilled to see and hear about the success stories that the Grow Your Own candidates are experiencing. So again, super thrilled about this. And I'll turn it over to Corey if she has anything else to add.
Just a really exciting opportunity, and Lisa and I are both really grateful to be able to help administer it because it is changing people's lives. And it's really awesome to be able to provide opportunities for people to get their first bachelor's degree and teaching certificate. It's also awesome to be able to change our certified staff's lives because they can afford to go to school. And they can earn a master's and they can enhance their instructional practices. And so it's really a a really great opportunity, but it's also really an honor to be a part of it on behalf of the district. Lisa and I often talk about how it's one of the joys of our career to be able to administer a program like this, which brings so much positive experiences to our staff, right? So it's been really wonderful, and we'll keep doing it as long as we have the money to do it. So with that, I think if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer any questions you might have about Grow Your Own.
Is there a timeline on the $8 million that it needs to be spent?
There is a timeline on the $8 million. We are crossing our fingers that they're going to kick that timeline down the road a little bit, because we've heard that they may do so. But right now it has to be spent by December of 2026. Initially it was December of 2025, and then they've already told us now December of 2026, and we're like, yes. And so we're hopeful that maybe that gets even pushed out further, but that will be for the state to decide. We're going to spend that money on our staff. So.
And then is it open for like teachers to apply all the time, or is there a set time?
Well, Michigan State University has different benchmarks for their application process, so there are 3 different times someone could onboard during the school year. Yeah.
So, I have a couple questions. So the MSU program, those are current teachers going to their masters, correct?
But there could be any certified staff, so it could be like an SLP who wanted to go back and become a counselor or something like that, but yes.
Okay, that's cool. And then the ones, it was 37 through the Ferris program, so those would be kind of new teachers or new
those are like paras who don't have a teaching certificate yet,
or so those would be new teachers that come into
additional. They will.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Do we have a sense of roughly how many graduates we'll get a year?
From our program, everyone has like an articulated timeline, so if they follow like all of their courses and they don't like drop down credits because of something going on, we know when everyone is intended to student teach, and then when everyone is intended to graduate. And so it's our hope that we will be able to place them in Rockford for their student teaching, and that we will have some lining up so that, of course, we want our own that we grew to work here in Rockford. If that doesn't, the next question I think that Lisa and I have kind of had is, well, what happens if that doesn't come true? Like, what if you have 12 people graduate, but you only have 7 teaching positions, you know, that year? Because like we just talked about the numbers, you know, it's hard to tell. The way it works is that if we don't have a teaching position available, then we will give them to another district in the Kent ISD. So, and someone will have a teaching position open, because as we're all painfully aware, sometimes there are some shortages in those pools, and it can be difficult for some districts to find like a certified teacher. So that's the way the Kent ISD works, and we will have to push them to another district. But you know, it's really our hope that we can retain as many of them as we can.
I was going to ask about, if you happen to know, I'm just kind of curious, are there similar programs in other districts in the county in Kent ISD? Is everybody doing this, or is this more unique and special, at least for now? Or
not everybody is doing this. There are a couple of other districts that have programs. I think maybe 2 other districts in the Kent ISD that have programs. I'm not really following their programs, but I think they probably have successful programs as well. Additionally, the Kent ISD, as part of a multi-county consortium, has their own Grow Your Own program called the West Michigan Teacher Collaborative. You might have heard of it. They were granted, I think, $18 million for that multi-county consortium. So they're running a Grow Your Own program there as well for staff in those 3 counties. I think it's 3 counties.
Got it. So sorry, I was just saying this. So this is a differentiator for Rockford, because it's not like there's one of these in every district. There's only a few in the county, and that's why it helps us with the traction retention.
Yeah. And one of the unique parts to the Rockford program is we have a partnership with 3 different universities, and so it makes it a very strong and unique program, in that we have individuals at Michigan State, Ferris, and Grand Valley. And we will have actually certified staff at Grand Valley come January, and the counseling program there.
So we're working to expand. So the neat thing about this grant that other grants haven't had the flexibility is we can move the dollars between our partnership organizations. So we have those three, and we showed you some dollar amounts up there, but those dollar amounts are flexible as long as we're spending it on allowable expenses. So for example, if we had a lot of people that wanted to go to MSU, we could move some dollars to make that happen. And we can also add partnerships. So right now Grand Valley is for students, but they're already our partner. We can add a program from Grand Valley that's qualifying and then enroll people in that program as well. So it's a really nice opportunity funded through the MDE to be able to do those things.
Very cool.
We've not spoken about this before, but I think it might be lovely if there's opportunities for the board to recognize these individuals as they graduate. And so I just wanted to think that makes sense. I think that would be amazing because the extra work they're putting in on top of their work for the district is remarkable.
Very cool. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, up next is a bus inspection report.
I'll turn to Allison Clements, who will introduce our Director of Transportation.
Dr. Matthews, I'd like to invite Mr. Matt Hewitt, who is our Director of Transportation, to come up and discuss our recent bus inspection report that we received.
All right, well, thank you, school board. I want to start by thanking the community, thanking the school board for our new facilities. You tore down the old, rebuilt the new, and it is way beyond our wildest imaginations. It is great. They asked me what I wanted originally. I said, I want the water when it gets on the floor to run towards the drains instead of away. They succeeded doing that well, and everything else is bonus. So we are very thankful for it. And then I'll tell you, other places that have come through, they recognize just what a quality product that is and how good it is. So we're thankful for that. We also want to thank the board and the community for the buses that we get. We receive 7 new buses every year, been going on for a few years now, getting close to 10. So all of our buses are, the age is declining on them, and we're happy about that. We did get our inspection finally. Our bus mechanics kind of had a rough year. We moved out in June of 2023, the last day of school, and we moved back in to our new facilities in August, mid-August of this year, so a little over a year. And of course, the mechanics didn't get to move in because our inspection, he just calls whenever he wants and he does his inspections. So they didn't get to move in until after inspections. Displaced for a year and still trying to do their work. The mechanics are bus drivers. We use them for emergency bus driving. Last year we did not suspend a single route, first time since COVID, so we're very thankful for that. But that was a lot of bus driving by our mechanics. We also work off of 1 fewer mechanics than most of the surrounding schools around us that are our size or even a little bit smaller. There are 3 categories when we present our bus to the state inspector. The state inspector is judge, jury, and he offers the punishment too, which will either be a red tag, yellow tag, or green tag. And it's strictly up to him. We have no say, really. When we disagree, we have no say in it. It is what it is. And I'll also say that what our mechanics have to know goes beyond reason. I have the book here with me. It is page after page after page of mind-numbing reading. So I say all that, and you say, oh boy, here comes a bad report because he's setting us up for that. It's actually not. Our mechanics do a tremendous job. We have 66 buses, went through inspection, 1 red tag, 1 yellow tag. If we compare that to other school districts that are surrounding us, and I managed to download every school district that's around us that uses the same inspector, because it does vary by inspectors, which is a shame. It should just be one level playing field, but our inspector seems to be the gold standard in red tags. Byron Center Public Schools, close to who we are, actually half the buses that we have, but actually was one of the other school districts that received a pretty decent inspection. They had 1 red, 1 yellow. If we go to places like Caledonia, 6 yellows, 8 reds. Forest Hills, who we like to compare ourselves to for whatever reason, they were 2 yellows, 3 reds. They have the exact same amount of buses as we do. Some of these are crazy from him, like some of the school districts, and I won't mention them just because they're like 37 red tags. So it is pretty amazing that our mechanics are able to pull that off. Fewer mechanics, being displaced, driving bus, everything that they're required to do. So we are thankful for them. And I can tell you, that 1 red tag bothers them way more than it probably bothers any of you. Now I do want to say in mentioning, when we talk about green tag, yellow tag, red tag, when I first heard about it, I thought green tag is good. Yellow tag means this bus is getting older, you might want to think about getting rid of it. Red tag means, it's rusted out, we should throw it in the back corner, and, that's that. It simply doesn't mean that. We are not transporting kids all over Kent County with well over 400 buses that are no good. Our red tag was a gas tank. He claimed it's leaking. We can't find the leak. Don't know where it's at. He rubbed his finger across it. Something smelled like diesel, which probably ran down the hose when we filled it up, but that's the level that he plays at. Our yellow tag was a clamp that was missing, and it came from the factory that way. Quite often our vehicles come from the factory, and they would be red tagged the way they come from the factory. I just got notice today that our exit signs in the back, over the back door, they're too small, and if they're inspected next year and they're that small, we'll have 14 red tags. So we have some work to do, but that's quite frequent. The lettering on the sides of one of our buses came at 5.5 inches instead of 6 inches, and that's a red tag. So we've been about fixing those things. So that's what they get to do and get to play with the state that way. But tremendous report by our guys, and we're thankful for how well they do with our buses. Are there any questions?
I just want to say congratulations.
Yeah.
That's hard to go from a move like that and be displaced and not have a home, and then be in the middle of transitioning and have those inspections go through and come up that clean. So just to the happiness.
Thank you. I'll let them know you said so. You should come by and look at the new garage.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You saw the old one, the new one's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Pewitt.
All right, we're on to bond construction update.
And I'll turn to Ms. Clemens again.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews. Mr. Pewitt teed that up nicely for me because his mention of the new transportation building is one of the many projects that have been worked on. I invite Jared Goss from O&M's Kimball to come up, as well as Sean Hayward, who is our Director of Operations, to talk through the projects that have been completed to date, and then some of the things to come. And just a big thank you to echo Mr. Pewitt's sentiments. Big thank you to our community for their support of our 2019 bond, and that is what funds these construction projects and allows us to do the building and things that are necessary to give our students a great space to learn. So, turn it over to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Allison. Thank you for having me. I'm Jared Gauss, Project Superintendent. My name's Kimball. We're kind of a reason for the displacement of mechanics and everybody moving boxes around, teachers around, building all these projects. So appreciate the opportunity to give you an update for the construction projects going on in the district here. So this summer was a really, really busy summer. I'm glad it's school's in session and we're back to normalcy. So we had a lot of stuff going on this summer. Edgerton Trails obviously was finalized, completed. Transportation building came together and was completed. Rockford Elementary gym addition done. Kitchen upgrades there. Parkside Elementary School cafeteria air conditioning upgrades. Valley View Elementary upgrades with the parking lot and carpet. High school tennis courts. North Rockford Middle School additions upgrades. We're still working there. But we got a lot of work done this summer. And then the freshman center life skills had a little bit of refresh. And then, like I said, currently still under construction in North Rockford Middle School. And then upcoming projects is the freshman center renovations and high school parking lot resurfacing. So I'll go through each project here and kind of where it all began. So we cleared for Edgerton Trails, we cleared about roughly 10 acres of land out there, made way for the new building. They had a lot of planning, obviously, went in there before we got in there. We started in March of 2022, cleared all the trees, cleared all the land, and got going on the building. We had about 116,000, just over 116,000 labor hours into the building, into construction. That's the view of the kind of in construction, kind of towards the finishes there. What difference a year makes, you see all the dirt construction and the block work there, and then the view of the outdoor living center there at the back of the building there. So just a really fun project, a lot of work went into it, really glad how it all came together. This is my favorite room in the building, the media center, the learning commons area. You can see the kind of in the middle phase of the project last year, and then the finished product there with the lights and everything kind of coming together, natural light coming into the building. Trails, we had the ribbon cutting. Dr. Matthews is there, entertaining guests, maybe one of his famous cookies that he baked in the new kitchen facility at the elementary. So all in all, just a great project to be a part of. Really glad it came together, and it was really cool to see the kids kind of come into that place and really getting to enjoy the space there. Yeah, there again, got more updates of the project there. So. North Rockford Middle School, a lot going on in North Rockford, as you can see. A lot went together this summer. This is a picture of our orchestra room addition that went on there. With the orchestra room addition, kind of the backside, we updated all the parking lots and the student drop-off area. Added new parking there, so added a lot more parking there. I will say it's a lot better for events and everything that go on there, and football games and stuff like that. So it's very good to have that extra parking. Going into the renovation of the orchestra room, so that's the interior look at the orchestra room. We also did a renovation of the band room this summer, kind of facelift that as well. And then that's the 12 classroom addition on the 6th grade wing, the new addition that went on there, and they kind of where it started and kind of where it is now. So, and then also this summer we renovated, I think, 14 classrooms, interior space around the courtyard. I added new casework and upgraded HVAC system to those classrooms as well. And the plan with North Rockford going forward throughout the next year, we're going to break off 4 or 5 classrooms throughout the school during the school year and kind of plan on turning those over around the breaks. So Christmas break we'll turn over those, and then go into another 4 or 5 classrooms and kind of work through the building that way, and then finalize everything next summer. Transportation building, as Matt said, it was a brand new building, tore down the old building that was there. It's a 20,000 square foot new building, 6 bus bays, 3 vehicle lifts. It's got a 1-minute bus wash system, so super fast bus wash system. Normal bus systems take 5 to 15 minutes, so state-of-the-art building there, really cool space. It did turn out really well, so we're happy with that project. Rockwood Elementary gym addition. Made room for the cafeteria to be used for a dedicated cafeteria space with this addition. We did some exterior upgrades with the loading dock area as well as the dumpster enclosure area on the Rockwood gym. And then we also did kitchen upgrades and serving upgrades to Rockwood. And there's a connecting corridor there. And then high school tennis courts, so that wrapped up this summer. We still got a shade structure to get in there, some bleachers, but all in all, it's good. It's in operation. 12 brand new courts. Really nice project to be a part of there. Kind of added some parking in the back there as well by the weight room and the tennis courts there. And just a good project there. Going into our next phase of construction, kind of going forward here, we actually break ground on the freshman center this fall. We start with the IT addition off the back of the freshman center, and then we're going to go into the heart of the building, and we're going to do some cafeteria upgrades, which is that lower left-hand picture where you can access the restrooms from the cafeteria. We're taking out the stage and doing some renovations there. In the project labs on the lower right, that's kind of in the heart of the building where the LGI room is now. We kind of do a lot of big work in that middle of the roof in that building to put together those project labs. And then we'll end the project with some media center renovations, mechanical upgrades throughout the space. Yeah, so that's kind of wraps up what we did, what we're moving forward with. Additional key projects, I said Parkside, we upgraded the air handling unit in the cafeteria. That has air now. Valley View Elementary, new flooring, painting all the classrooms, painting the corridors. We did 4 classrooms there. We did the bus loop improvements. We removed 5 portables from Valley View. The high school, we did some security office upgrades, and we are going to remove 4 portables in that building. Meadow Ridge, we removed the portables there. There was 4 there. Belmont, 1, we got rid of that one this summer. North Rockford Middle School, we're continuing to work through that building, mechanical upgrades and finishes. We got rid of 2 portables there, and then I think we have a total of 16 portables removed from the district. So that's a big deal. It was good to see that happen. And then Freshman Center, we had a life skills renovation. Going on. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any questions, comments, construction?
How many schools left do we not have AC in? Is there only a couple?
That's great. So while elementaries don't have AC right now, for the most part, besides that, you're turning Meadow Ridge. That would put the AC in.
7 elementary.
I will say the infrastructure is in place on a lot of the schools. We've done that from the previous bond and this bond. We're upgrading some equipment to accept AC when the time comes, but they do not currently have AC. But Freshman Center will have AC. We'll get to the secondary hall to have AC.
And then how many portables are left?
There are 4 still at the high school. The plan is to get those out this fall yet. So.
They're still being used for storage. We're finalizing the storage space for band,
Theater.
Or the theater, thank you.
So not used as classrooms, but just...
No.
Yeah, they're just
storage.
Rain comes.
Any other questions?
Awesome.
Nice work. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And we're on to item 8, Rams 12 update. Dr. Matthews?
Let Stephen get that up. So this is continuing discussion of our Rams 12 implementation. So as you're aware, the structure of the Rams 12 is that we have a vision that identifies where we're headed, kind of puts before us what we want to be as a district. The mission kind of focuses on how we're going to achieve that vision. Then we've identified student-focused outcomes. We've identified 5 pillars, which are the fundamental building blocks that we're going to focus on over the next 3 years. And then priorities, which are specific action steps and where fast goals will be created. So the vision of Rams 12 is the Rockford Public Schools will be a community of educational excellence where students are challenged to think critically, act compassionately, and succeed boldly. So that's where we believe is what we're called to do and be as a school district. And for us to achieve that, the Rockford Public Schools is committed to fostering a rigorous, cohesive learning environment that challenges and supports each student, equipping them for success now and in the future. And then we identified these 7 critical areas, kind of the student-focused outcomes. Critical thinker, academically proficient, socially and emotionally aware, personally responsible, career and college ready, problem solver, and effective communicator. And so in order to achieve that, we identified 5 pillars, which are kind of the building blocks for our district. And those 5 pillars are academic excellence, and under academic excellence we identified 4 priorities and 16 specific action steps. Wellness and preparedness, there's 3 priorities, 12 specific action steps. Social responsibility and community engagements, there's 3 priorities, 11 specific action steps. Collaborative culture, 3 priorities, 11 action steps. Organizational effectiveness, 3 priorities and 7 action steps. So there's 5 pillars, 16 priorities, and 58 specific action steps. As you can see from that, that's a lot to do in the next 3 years. And so the question is, for us, how are we going to begin to achieve this? And so we can't achieve everything at once. So the question is, where do we start? So, for example, moving forward, academic excellence, there's 4 priorities: high quality instruction, career and college readiness, post-secondary preparedness, critical thinking, and diverse offerings. And underneath those, there's 16 specific action steps. So we can't do all that work at once. So what are the priorities in the priorities? So identify what starts first, and then we had a discussion today with our admin team. You know, by the end of the calendar year, what are we going to accomplish? By the end of the school year, what are we going to accomplish? And so here's the next steps that we talked about with our administrative team today. Between September 9th, which was today, and October 1st, all of our building level administrators and department heads are going to have conversations with their staff about the RAMS 12 priorities, what they are, what they believe that they can work on or focus on over the next school year. By October 1st, administrators, all the administrators in the district, building level leaders, department chairs, will send to me a list of their priorities, and we've asked them to identify 3 to 5 priorities for the 24-25 school year. Mike Ram, for example, in the area of instruction, is going to identify with the building level administrators a common priority. And then the buildings from there will also identify anywhere between 2 to 4 other priorities. We believe that if you have too many priorities, you're not going to get anything done. And so we're trying to limit our focus because we believe that if we can limit our focus and really engage in meaningful work over the course of this year, then that will set us up for year 2 and year 3 of RAMS 12. So by October 1st, the administrators will send to me their list of priorities. By October 14th, which is our next board meeting, we should be able to report on one FAST goal in many of these areas that will address a 24-25 priority and identify the timeline. By the end of the calendar year, what's the progress we're going to make? By the end of the school year, what's the progress we're going to make? And then by November 1st, we're going to create FAST goals for all of our 24-25 priorities. And again, we're going to identify by the end of the calendar year and by the end of the school year. And then we're going to create a dashboard for the district website that will display these priorities and track progress over the course of this year. And so the FAST goals that we've talked about with our administrative team are frequently discussed, ambitious, specific, and transparent. And so that's our goal over the course of this school year, is to identify those priorities, and then within those priorities identify FAST goals that will help us achieve those priorities over the course of this year. By the end of the calendar year, which is December of this year, by the end of the school year, which would be May or June of next year. And then we would repeat the cycle for the 25-26 school year, and repeat the cycle again for the 26-27 school year. Ultimately, what I think will happen for us is that we will recognize that having as many priorities as we establish is way too much. And so as a district, we're going to have to focus our efforts so that we can achieve meaningful change in our district and help us continue to move forward. So we need to prioritize the priorities, what we're going to do by the end of the school calendar year, what we're going to do by the end of the school year. So we're committed to being transparent with the board and with our community to identify how we're going to move RAMS 12 forward.
If you're truly being transparent, why aren't you discussing action
Yeah,
steps?
sorry, you're out of order. This is not time for public comment. So
But I want to know what the action steps are.
No, you're out of order, ma'am.
So the action steps will be identified on our website. So they have not been developed yet. So we have identified the priorities. We're in the process of identifying the priorities, which fit under those pillars. And from those pillars, we will identify the action steps that we're going to take. The action steps, many of the action steps, there's, as I said, 58 action steps identified in RAMS 12, which is on our district website currently. So you can go to our district website and look at each of those areas and see the action steps that are identified there. And from that, we will identify the ones that we're going to work on over the course of this year. And so we believe we are being transparent because the RAMS 12 is listed on our district website right now. And from that, we will narrow down the focus so that we have the opportunity to work with the board to show meaningful progress over the course of this year. Question?
Yeah, I appreciate the discussion around prioritization focus. So when we saw the plan, it is comprehensive and ambitious, and that's a good thing. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's better to do 3 things really well than 10 things mediocre or poor, right? So I think that being kind of laser focused on what we think makes sense to tackle first, I think that's really important?
And that was the conversation we had with our administration today, is really trying to help them understand that we can't accomplish all of those things all at once. And so we have to be able to prioritize. And from that priority, we will begin to identify what those specific action steps that we're going to concentrate on are, and then from there, identify goals that will help us accomplish that by the end of the calendar year, by the end of the school.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier in the goal setting session I was in, this is all consistent and aligned to what MASB described as best practices. So our role is, we can expect regular updates, and this will be a standing item on
Yes.
our agendas going forward. So we'll have the opportunity to monitor progress, ask questions along the way. So we appreciate that going forward. Okay. And that's it for our reports tonight. We're going to move on to recognition of our visitors. I've got my list. I want to take a moment to outline the guidelines for the public comment portion of our meeting. First and foremost, we value and welcome your input and feedback. We believe a collaborative relationship between our schools and the Rockford community is essential to achieving our shared goals. Public comment at the board meeting is intended to give the Rockford community an opportunity to address the board on issues in the Rockford Public Schools. At our meetings, the board and individual board members will not directly respond to comments or questions that arise during public comment, but may follow up through the superintendent. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes to ensure everyone has an equal chance to express their views. Please be respectful and avoid using inappropriate language or engaging in personal attacks. We want to create an environment where everyone feels comfortable expressing their opinions without fear of retribution or harassment. To ensure due process and respect for individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. If you have a problem involving an individual or a specific incident, we encourage you to consider addressing it through administrative channels by contacting the superintendent's office. Furthermore, we ask that speakers express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. While it is not our intent to stifle public comment, speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. If you are unsure of the legal ramifications of what you're about to say, we urge you to consult first with your legal advisor. We encourage you to provide constructive feedback and suggestions for improvement, which helps us improve our schools and better serve our students, families, and community. We thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts. We look forward to working together to ensure that our schools continue to be a source of pride for our community. Lastly, please remember that public comment at our board meetings is one way we hear feedback from the community. It is certainly not the only way. Those who prefer other means to communicate often do so via email, through the district website, or by calling the superintendent's office. When we call your name, please step up to the podium. Be mindful of the timer. Speakers are asked to address the board, not the audience or others in attendance. The audience is asked to remain quiet so speakers may be heard without interruption. With that, our timer's ready, and up first on the list is Michelle Rodriguez. Is Michelle here? Nope. Okay, we're moving on to number 2, Chris Barlow.
I'd like to start by saying thank you. First of all, this is not where my comfort zone lies. This is not where I want to be. I'm a father of 2. I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. Last week, Tuesday, I was 5 days into our journey here. 5th day of preschool when the incident outside happened. And since then, I have this overwhelming feeling there's just a little bit, there's a passive contempt for the evidence. My wife went in and out of the school building in between the time that the original police phone call happened and the time after the cop, or after the first person on scene arrived. The first 5 minutes, I don't think I can understate how important that is if there's a threat to the school, right? Like, I'm 5 days into preschool and we're already confronting this. I gotta determine, do I talk to my 3-year-old about a gun? She's never seen my guns, for a reason. Whether it's familiarity or I don't want to pique her curiosity, I don't right now, I don't know how to approach that. So I'm looking for guidance from you. I'm looking you to protect my wife and my daughter while they're here. It's a different landscape than we went to school, right? Like, we're not on a downward trend of these occurrences, unfortunately. None of us want to deal with it, but I feel like last Tuesday was a dry run, and I'm incredibly thankful, just as everyone is, that nothing happened. But I question how it was handled because of the safety of my wife and my daughter. I don't necessarily know, Dr. Matthews, you know, we've communicated. I appreciate the school's response. I appreciate the response from the Rockford Police Department and the Kent County prosecutor, but I still have this feeling in my gut that they weren't protected. And at this point, I don't know how to shake it. I'm not getting the response that makes me reassured that they're safe based on that incident. So I thank you for your time, and I know it's difficult with the communication of it, so I really do appreciate Dr. Matthews, your responses, and everybody else's response on the matter. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll reset the timer, and up next is Jen Kozlowski. Is she here? Jen? Okay, Brenda Wadarski.
I want to hit on a couple things. First of all, being transparent. When you're being transparent, Mr. Matthews, in the letters for the parents, you need to put the word biological in front of boys and girls to be transparent for that. According to the Department of Education, 0 academic metrics have improved since it was founded. Is that why Rockford has about 2,500 kids that can't read at reading level? Wow, crazy. Let's not mix compassion with truth. What is a school board? Why was it created and what was it modeled after? Have we as a school district wandered away from the intended purpose? Is our school board a healthy relationship, equally representing parents, teachers, administration, and community? First, let me give you an understanding of what a school board is. A school board is a collection of community members who have a vested interest and a stake in the education, success, and development of school-age children to become well-adjusted, secure, contributing adults to society. The school board has a task of being the checks and balances between the school and parents to ensure a child's need are being safely met and all children are given the opportunity to master skills needed to pursue the path they chose in adulthood. This, I believe, is why the school board was created. The United States of America is a republic. Our Constitution lays out a system of government where we elect a representative to be our voice. Our school board is based on this model. This model is only successful if the following practices are allowed by the people who elect the representation: questioning, open discussion, scrutiny, dissension, transparency, accountability. All views need to be heard because all students and parents have a voice, and the school board member has a responsibility to honor every voice. The practice of silencing voices a member of the school board disagrees with does not represent the model of a republic. The practices of setting up arbitrary timelines to sign up to speak to limit public input, cutting off opposing views, threatening removal of people expressing dissent in a nonviolent manner, and moving to a committee model on the school board to lock out opposing views of other board members and assign them to committees where their opposing voices can be diluted, needs to be disassembled. Yes, the school board has wandered away from its intended purpose, and a healthy relationship does not currently exist with equal representation of parents, teachers, administration, and community. Who are the victims of this unhealthy relationship? Everybody, as exhibited in the falling enrollment. Good, solid families are pulling their children from RPS in alarming numbers, opting for homeschooling, online, private, and charter. Once struggling alternative schools now have waiting lists, and the once outstanding reputation of RPS is tarnished. Teacher morale, frustration, and stress is at a high point where great experienced teachers are leaving the district or retiring, as you can see what has happened in the last 4 years. Many see what is happening to our schools that they'll help us in stopping the political agenda of wokeness that has taken the emphasis off of basic learning strategies that will equip students with their skills to pursue their careers.
Okay, up next is Janine Keenan.
So how do we remediate the direction of our schools and our school boards have taken? We change the direction of our school board. We re-examine the mission of our schools and align it with the republic model of our government. We elect people to the board that are dedicated to parental controls and return educational foundations of learning. We need a champion for parents' rights in education, transparency, and accountability, and a commitment to our children's future. We need a strong focus on traditional educational values and one who is passionate about creating a positive and inclusive environment for all students while ensuring CRT, critical race theory, does not undermine our educational system. We need bold leaders that are willing to take a stand fast on principles, not based upon likability and the flow of the prevailing winds. Bold leadership is needed in the face of influences that dismantle parental rights, common sense, solid research-based educational practices. This is how we reverse the course Rockford Public Schools is currently on. Sadly, many parents who felt immense RAM pride now feel locked out of their children's schools. They are no longer allowed at elementary school parties, track and field days to support their children. I do understand past safety concerns. However, private schools have implemented parent participation successfully by revamping procedures to heighten security. Rockford Public School refuses to revisit increased parental involvement. Teacher planning time has not been respected, as some would have been tasked with training and/or attending pronoun re-education that is mandatory. Time is taken away from educational strategic planning, collaborating with grade subject teams to implement research-based practices, and addressing the educational objectives of their classroom. Teachers have felt a sense of group shaming if they speak up in these meetings, not supporting these practices under an umbrella of SEL, social emotional learning. All students need to be respected, honored, heard, but not one group at the expense of another. I suspect this practice has been implemented by a rewrite of Title IX by the Department of Education. However, the Department of Education does not have the authority to change Title IX law. Only Congress does. As exhibited by 4 separate federal courts, deemed the Department of Ed rewrite of Title IX unconstitutional. The United States Supreme Court recently upheld the injunctions of the lower federal courts who deemed the Department of Ed rewrite unconstitutional. Teachers are being silenced and their Second Amendment rights are being violated when they are shamed into silence. Could this be the third lawsuit Rockford Public School needs to litigate? Not a win for taxpayers. All students and staff have Title IX protections, not just a particular group. Thank you.
Okay. Up next is Connie Molders.
I'm the continued. On April 29, 2024, 3 separate lawsuits were filed challenging the 2024 Title IX regulations. 1 Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, and Idaho filed 1 lawsuit in the Western District of Louisiana. 2 Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina filed a 2nd lawsuit in the Northern District of Alabama. And 3 Texas filed a 3rd lawsuit in the Northern District of Texas. On April 30th, 2024, Texas, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Virginia, and West Virginia filed a 4th lawsuit in the Eastern District of Kentucky. Over the next 3 months, these lawsuits will impact how institutions prepare for the 2024-2025 academic year. Is this a fight RPS wants to enter? As a taxpayer, Is this fight you wish to finance? Apparently so, but since all but 2 current board members voted to implement the 2024 Title IX rewrite, what will this potential lawsuit cost the students in terms of class sizes, resources, and materials? Teachers are being silenced by their First Amendment rights and being violated when they're shamed into silence. I think that was right before. The pronoun agenda has given an avenue to some disruptive students who wish to hijack the educational objectives of the teacher to focus on pronouns. The pronoun agenda has been further evidenced by teachers attending individual education planning meetings for special needs children. The teachers have been requested to use preferred pronouns instead of the child's legal name. Some of the teachers have refused since the IEP is a legal document and agreed to use the child's legal name as required by law. Pressure was put on these teachers, but they refused. A current lawsuit is pending against RPS where a child's pronouns were changed deceptively without the parent's knowledge. Currently, RPS is paying 4 lawyers to litigate this case. In other states, similar lawsuits have been settled, finding the school district at fault. Is this a lawsuit you wish to finance? Again, at what cost of the education of our students? Some parents have transitioned their children, which is a parent-child family decision. However, some of these parents have tried to enlist teachers to pressure biological sex students to include these transition children into their off-school grounds social activities, such as slumber parties. Teachers that do comply are putting unjust pressure on these students.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for visitors tonight. Next and last on the agenda is Superintendent remarks. Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Mr. Foltz. On Tuesday, September 4th, as was noted this evening, there was a gun that was found in the parking lot of our administrative building. It was found by a person coming to the administrative building, secured in their car, and the police were notified. And this was a serious situation, but it was handled appropriately by our security department and the administrators here in the admin building. The weapon was never in our building. It was never in the possession of a person who entered our building on that day, and it was never used to threaten our schools. It clearly was a reckless use of the weapon. We appreciate the concern that was expressed and the question about how we responded. Our Director of Security and our administrative staff here at the admin building ensured that there was no threat to our schools and ensured that entry and exit to our admin building, River Valley Academy, and Parkside was safe that day. When the weapon was found, the Rockford police were contacted. They in turn forwarded their investigation to the Kent County prosecuting attorney, and the prosecutor brought forward a charge late last week. Our schools are safe. We have secure vestibules, we have locked doors, we have shatter-resistant film on our windows, we have a security team. We continue to monitor and evaluate our safety practices, but this incident we do not believe was a breach of our safety envelope. It was mentioned this evening that there were 2,500 students who were not proficient in reading. The My School Data website identifies that there were in grades 3 through 8, 356 students who were not proficient out of 3,314 students who were assessed. And so the number that was mentioned this evening was not an accurate number from my review of the data that we have. We would agree that all students should be respected here in our school district, and we're working to ensure that our schools are safe and that we provide access to parents and families. We have had this discussion with our administrative team, and I know from discussions with our administrative team that they're looking for avenues to have parents participate in activities in our building. But our goal is to ensure that our students are safe in our buildings, and we're working with our Director of Security to ensure that that occurs each and every day. Rockford High School and Granville High School are inviting you to the varsity football game this Friday, September 13th at Rockford High School. The gates open at 5:30 p.m. and the game starts at 7. The Rams and the Bulldogs would like to honor and thank our veterans and active service members in both communities by allowing them free entrance to the game. Prior to the game, we will ask all veterans and active service members to stand up from their seats for a moment of recognition. We look forward to a great night of football and to the ability to honor our armed forces heroes. And that's my report this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Matthews, and with that, we're adjourned.